So now we'll see the middle cranial fossa. We have seen the anterior cranial fossa. Now the fossa which is more deeper than this anterior cranial fossa, this area which is a butterfly shape area, what is known as middle cranial fossa. So middle cranial fossa, the anterior boundary as it is formed by the posterior boundary of the anterior cranial fossa, that is lesser wing of sphenoid, free margin, anterior clinoid process and anterior margin of the sulcus chiasmaticus. And the posterior margin of this middle cranial fossa, it is formed by the superior border of this area, what is known as the petrous temporal bone. So the superior border of the petrous temporal bone on lateral side and the dorsum cellae, this part will form what is the posterior boundary. Laterally, it is bounded by the, you can have the antero-inferior angle of the parietal bone as well as the part of the squamous temporal bone. Now floor it is formed by the main bone over here in anterior part is known as the your sphenoid bone. In the midline it is the body of the sphenoid and laterally it is known as the greater wing of sphenoid, and posteriorly it is formed by this sloping anterior part of the petrous temporal bone, and laterally it is formed by the squamous temporal bone. So this, if you can see externally, this is the temporal bone squamous part. This is the squamous part of the temporal bone. This is the antero-inferior angle of the what is known as the parietal bone, and this is what is known as the greater wing of sphenoid. This is frontal bone. So this how H-shaped suture or the pterion lies over here, and internally similarly it forms the boundary. This is the outer table and this one is the inner table part. So this is how the floor as well as the boundary laterally is formed. Floor, if you see the floor in the midline, the floor from anterior posterior, it is formed by starting from the anterior margin of the sulcus chiasmaticus, and it is followed by this is saddle shape area what is known as the Turkish saddle or the sella turcica. So this is sella turcica and this is the sulcus chiasmaticus. This sella turcica has got few parts. Anteriorly it is bounded by the sulcus chiasmaticus. Behind it there is an elevation. This elevated area what is known as the tuberculum cellae. It is a small elevated area or the tubercle which is there on the sella turcica, so it is known as the tuberculum cellae. And if you trace it on either side, it is further have a pointed part what is known as the middle clinoid process. So this and this part is known as the middle clinoid process, followed by there is a depression. This depression lies in relation to what is known as the pituitary gland, and it is known as the hypophyseal fossa. However, the pituitary gland is not directly over here, it is somewhat above it. And behind this sella turcica, it is bounded by this margin, posterior margin known as dorsum cellae. So in the midline from before backward, if you see sulcus chiasmaticus, tuberculum cellae, along with on either side the median clinoid process or the middle clinoid process, followed by hypophyseal fossa and then the dorsum cellae. Now if you concentrate on the lateral area, this lateral area, how it is formed? So as we have told, it is formed by the greater wing of sphenoid. This part was the body of the sphenoid and this is the greater wing of sphenoid. This is the anterior sloping part of the petrous temporal bone. So if you see further, and this area it is the squamous part of the temporal bone. Now if you concentrate on the greater wing of the sphenoid, the anterior most, if you see this portion, this is the lesser wing, this is the greater wing, and in between them you have got what is this is known as a superior orbital fissure. This is superior orbital fissure. If I can show it you by entering this probe over here, this is superior orbital fissure. And if you see it, it comes out from the orbit. So superior orbital fissure, it is bounded superiorly by this lesser wing and inferiorly by the greater wing, and on medial side by the body of the sphenoid. Further in front of it, this is the sulcus chiasmaticus, and if you trace the sulcus chiasmaticus laterally, it forms what is known as the optic canal. So this is the optic canal. So on either side of the sulcus chiasmaticus, it is an optic canal. This optic canal will further open into the orbit, and below this optic canal you have got the what is known as the superior orbital fissure. You can clearly see it through the orbit. This is the superior orbital fissure and this is your optic canal. Now further, if you see behind it, there are another opening. This opening is known as foramen rotundum. So this is your foramen rotundum on either side of this you can say the posterolateral of the superior orbital fissure. Before that, this superior orbital fissure, it is marked by a tendinous ring of Zinn, and it will further it divide the orbital fissure into the three parts: the middlemost, the intermediate, and the lateral part. And there are few structures of the orbit which passes through it that we will deal later on. Behind the foramen rotundum, what you have got is this oval shaped opening known as foramen oval. It opens into the base of the skull. This foramen rotundum was opening into the, you can say the, over here what is known as the pterygopalatine fossa, while this foramen rotundum opens into the base of the skull. It is oval in shape, and behind the foramen oval you have got the another foramen what is known as foramen spinosum. The smaller one is known as foramen spinosum. So there are three, you can say from before backward in lateral area you have got the superior orbital fissure. This is superior orbital fissure, as you can see it through the orbit. Behind it you have got, this is foramen rotundum which opens into the pterygopalatine fossa. Behind it you have got the oval shaped foramen oval, and further behind you have got the foramen spinosum. Sometimes between the foramen oval and this foramen spinosum you have got what is known as the canaliculus innominatus. There is another tiny opening is there. It is not seen over here. And further medial to this foramen oval, sometimes you can see the foramen of Vesalius in over here. It is not seen in this specimen. So this is how the lateral area, the greater wing of sphenoid will show these three openings. Now if you see over here, the vascular markings are there. These are the meningeal vessels vascular marking, Y-shaped marking, the anterior division as well as the posterior division of, you can say, the middle meningeal vessels is seen over here as a vascular markings. Over this area lies the temporal lobe of the brain. Now if you go further behind this area, the anterior sloping part of the petrous temporal bone. This is the anterior sloping part of the petrous temporal bone. Near the apex of it and behind the body of, there is another opening. This opening which is known as foramen lacerum. It opens further into the base of the skull. So this is foramen lacerum. So foramen lacerum, anteriorly it is bounded by the body of the sphenoid, and posteriorly it lies in relation to this apex of the petrous temporal bone. This is foramen lacerum. Further, if you see, there are structures which are there on the sloping anterior part. The middlemost part over here shows a depression. This depressed area, it is known as the trigeminal impression, and the Gasserian ganglion of the trigeminal lies in relation to this area in the what is known as the trigeminal cave, which is formed by the fold of a dura over here. Further lateral to it, you can see the these two grooves over here. The medialmost groove which starts from over here and it goes towards the foramen lacerum is known as the groove for the greater petrosal nerve, and where it starts, there is a tiny hiatus which is not clearly seen over here, known as the hiatus, and the groove for the greater petrosal nerve which ultimately opens into the foramen lacerum. Lateral to it you have got another hiatus and the groove what is known as the groove and hiatus for the lesser petrosal nerve, and it goes towards the foramen oval. Further laterally, if you see, there is a elevated area what is known as the arcuate eminence. This area is known as arcuate eminence. This is the arcuate eminence, and lateral to it there is this thin plate of bone over here. This thin plate of bone is what is known as the tegmen tympani. It is the tegmen tympani. This is a thin plate of bone, and ultimately it goes downwards and it comes somewhere over here between the mandibular fossa. Over here it comes over here. So further detail we will see when we will learn the basalis of the skull. So this is how the structures which are there. Further to summarize, starting from anteriorly you have got, see, this is your optic canal, followed by you have got, this is superior orbital fissure, then this is your foramen rotundum, this is foramen oval, foramen spinosum, over here foramen lacerum. This is your groove and hiatus for the greater petrosal nerve. This is groove and hiatus for the lesser petrosal nerve. So these are the structures. The structure passing through it and the attachment will be dealt separately, or you can go through the books to further your knowledge. Thank you.